All right, good evening and welcome to this Yoga for Recovery, Resilience, and Realization. My name is Brian and I'm delighted to be here with you today, tonight, this evening. We're going to do an exploration of balancing the first three chakras. We're going to do some breath and movement that will help us to become aware of the first three chakras and the energy flow surrounding those first three chakras. We'll work to balance that. And we'll talk a little bit about how balancing the chakras is the key to healing our trauma. And so that'll be our exercise. We'll see how it goes. We're going to start, as always, in our grounding, landing, centering, and supporting ourselves. We'll raise a little gratitude and we'll set our intention. And then we'll move into that practice. We'll finish with a twist and then a nice guided rest to let everything integrate. So this will be the first of the next 3 weekends. We'll be exploring the chakras. So we'll do 4 and 5 next week, 6 and 7 the week after. And so anyway, with that, let us find a supported posture, whatever that means to you, whatever that looks like for you, whatever form that takes for you. Take a moment to bring yourself into this place and into this space. Come into the present moment by coming into the body. Come into the body by coming into the breath. Turn your awareness to your breathing. Begin to breathe in and out through the nostrils, following the inhalation all the way in. Without stress, strain, or exertion, following the exhalation all the way out. Emptying completely. Holding your awareness on the breath, continue to be right there with the next inhale, following that inhale in. And that exhale out. And allow everything except the breath to slip away. Let the breath be the primary and only, if possible, focus of your attention. And just allow everything to settle. Settling into the possibility of stillness in this moment. And then taking a moment to just feel into the physical sensation of connection between whatever part of your body is touching something and that which it is touching. So maybe your feet are flat on the floor, maybe the sides of your legs, calves, and ankles. Maybe you feel your sits bones, the pointy bones at the base of your hip girdle, rooting into whatever it is that you're seated upon. Maybe you have your back against the mat or the wall. Whatever it is that you're feeling, feel that for a moment. And allow yourself to be supported, recognizing that those places of contact and connection are support. Your body is being supported, and supporting your breath by following it with your attention, breathing in fully, deep into the belly perhaps, and exhaling completely, maybe a little tug at the bottom to release that extra bit of air at the bottom of the lungs, emptying completely. What is it like to let go completely in this moment? And on your next inhale, I invite you to float your hands to your heart in a way that brings awareness to your heart space and allow to arise in your heart space gratitude, any one thing for which you are grateful today. Perhaps for you today, just the possibility of gratitude. And whatever it is that arises when gratitude is called forth, take a moment to note that. See it clearly in your mind's eye. What is it that you're grateful for in this moment? Whatever it is that you are grateful for in this moment, whatever it is that has arisen for you, I invite you to anchor that gratitude in your heart space and to keep it there for at least the duration of our practice today. And then finally, before we start, I'll invite you, if you choose, to set your intention for your practice, perhaps a simple intention to just be right there with each inhale, or to just keep your gratitude anchored in your heart space. And whatever your intention is, I invite you now to state it to yourself. Hear yourself in your mind's ear as you state your intention in a clear and declarative voice as if it is already done. And listening as the echoes of your intention reverberate in your being, perhaps I invite you to take a full inhale. And as you exhale, if you choose to, allow your chin to drop gently towards your chest. And if you like, offer a benediction to seal your intention as I say Namo, Namaste. And then lift your head, release your hands. Take a full inhale and a complete exhale. And then come onto your feet as we come into our standing posture. All right. We'll see how this goes. We'll do a little stretch here. So find yourself standing first. So maybe shake out your hips a little bit. Allow yourself to find yourself on your feet. Maybe wiggling arms and hands. Just get the blood flow going a little bit. Inhaling fully as you bring your feet underneath your hips and align the outside edges of your feet with the mat. So top and bottom or sides, depending which way you're standing. And then soften the ankles, soften the knees, firm the hips and waist. So feel that firming of the hips and waist as you lift out of the waist. Open the chest, let the crown rise, and then bring your chin parallel. So experiment with tucking the chin to feel where you feel that parallel. You'll feel that release at the back of the neck. Shoulders roll up and down, fingers extend toward the floor, palms are forward. We're just going to be here for a moment as we take a full inhale and a complete exhale. And then inhale, take the arms high and press the palms. And then bring the thumbs towards the wall behind you to bring the biceps over the ears and lengthen through the fingertips. Just feel that length. So you feel that little bit of maybe your hips feel like they're moving forward a little bit. You feel that lift out of the lower back and lengthen out of the shoulders and the arms and the fingers. Crown extending. Breathe in here. Full inhale. Complete exhale. Inhale here. Exhale. Lean your body to the left as you bump your right hip to the right, pressing into both feet. So tendency here is to let that left knee bend, and then we don't want to do that. We want to keep both heels and balls of the feet pressing so that we can get long out of both sides of the body, but we'll feel this opening in the right side body primarily. Full inhale here. Complete exhale. Inhale, come back to center. Get long again. Take the thumbs back. Find that length through the arms. Exhale, lean to your right, bumping that left hip slightly. And again, stay pressed out of both feet. Stay long. Maybe you only go a little bit here. Body's just opening on its own. Allow the body to open on its own. Listen to the wisdom of your body. Know that your body knows what it needs. And if you just allow it, it will find what it needs. Take a full inhale here. Complete exhale. Inhale, come back to center, get long again, take the thumbs back, lift through the fingertips, lift through the crown, lift out of the waist, and maybe move the hips forward and slight back bend here early in the practice. Take a full inhale. Complete exhale. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, just release the hands, shoulders rolling down, palms forward, fingertips long. Take a full inhale. Complete exhale. Okay. Now, you take your feet slightly wider than the hips, so maybe more like shoulder width apart for most people. Maybe turn the toes slightly out to get a firm foundation here. And then you're going to bend your knees slightly. So I'll turn sideways. Maybe you can see this, just a slight bend in the knee. So you feel that rooting down. You're feeling that energy flowing down from the knees into the feet. Maybe pick up your toes so that you feel the ball inside and outside of the ball of the foot, the inside and outside of the heel of the foot. Feeling that balance of weight there, and then let the toes come down to support you further. And then bring your hands to your thighs just above the knees or wherever your arms reach. So depending on the length of your arms, you may be up for your hip girdle. maybe in the mid-thigh, maybe in the lower thigh, maybe just above the knee, wherever it is that you are. Thumbs on the inside, fingers slightly on the outside. And we're going to press. So this is bioenergetic grounding here. So we're going to press into the palms. So out of the shoulders, down through the arms, into the palms, and into the legs. So imagine we're trying to press our feet into the mat or even through the mat into the floor. So take a full inhale here. And a complete exhale, press down. Inhale here. Exhale, press a little harder. Now don't retreat on the inhale. Just hold what you got there, pressing into the feet, pressing into the thighs, feeling the feet against the floor. Inhale here. Exhale, see if you can press maybe just a little bit more. Maybe you feel your arms shaking a little bit. Maybe you feel yourself just fully grounded here. This is a grounding posture. And as you're feeling into this grounding posture, I want you to bring your awareness to the base of your spine. Right at that place where the spine ends, where the tail used to be a long, long time ago. Maybe you have a faint trace of sense of that. The bottom of your body here. That is the location of your first chakra. Chakra is an energy center in the psychic body, in the energy body. So in yoga, we have, depending on the school of thought, between 5 and 10 bodies, not just this one physical body. And we're working with the energy body today. So this location at the base of the spine, this first chakra, the color of the first chakra is a deep red, like an ochre or red clay. So imagine, if you will, at the base of your spine, just visualize a red ball of energy rotating and spinning there, like a little disc. Deep red ochre disc. Press into the thighs, press into the feet, feel yourself here. Now we're going to work with some breath while you're energizing here. So on the inhale, you're going to lift and bring the crown high and the chest forward. Maybe you feel like your hips are rolling under a little bit, maybe not. And then on the exhale, you're going to round your spine and bring your chin toward your chest. So it's like a standing cat posture here. Inhaling, arch and lift. Exhale, round and release. Inhale, arch and lift. Move at your rhythm. Exhale, round and release. Your breath, your pace. Now, maybe you're feeling a little bit of heat generate here because you're pressing. Maybe you're even starting to perspire a little. And one more time. Inhale, arch and lift. Exhale, round and release. Gently release the tension in your arms. Begin to relax the arms. Straighten the legs. Bring the feet back underneath the hips. Let the fingertips extend toward the mat. Lift the crown. Bring the chin parallel. Breathe in. Breathe out. Full inhalation. Complete exhale. Inhale here. Exhale here. All right. Our next movement is to come into our squat. Now, you may want to have a chair or a bolster for your squat. The point of the squat, your feet come again slightly wider than the hips, providing a strong base of support. And then you're going to bring your hips down as if you're seated into a chair. Now, at the point where your heels begin to come off the mat, that is your edge. That's where you want to be. You want to keep the heels down. You want to stay grounded, just like we did a moment ago. So maybe for you, that's just a little bit of seat. This is where your supports come into play. Remember, we use our tools to support ourselves in our practice. So if you have a chair or a bolster, you can use that to help support your arms as you squat. at whatever height is appropriate for you as you're coming into your squat. And again, the heels are down. Use our blocks or our bolsters to support ourselves. I'm going to keep my bolster handy here. Maybe bring our hands to the floor. Maybe you come all the way down. But we want to be engaged here in the feet. So where the heels start to come up, that's our edge. Bringing ourselves into this. So we want to bring our block and support ourselves on our block. Breathing here, full inhale. Complete exhale. Now, if you can come all the way down to where your hands come between your knees, so the elbows are inside the thighs, maybe you rest your chin lightly on the tips of your fingers. Breathing here. Wherever you are, we're going to pulse here a little bit. So on the inhale, you're going to lift the hips and let the head come forward into this modified forward fold. And on the exhale, you're going to sink the hips and come back into your squat, your version of the squat. Now you're moving with your breath. Inhaling up into a forward fold, modified forward fold. Exhaling down into your squat, modified squat. Supporting yourself as you need to in the arms. If you don't need to use your arms, you can work your practice that way. One more here. Inhaling up with the hips, down with the crown. Exhaling down with the hips, up with the crown. Find your posture here. Now we're going to introduce a breath here. Now, a light breath of fire in this squat posture. Again, bringing our awareness to the base of our spine, to that first energy center, to that first chakra. And we're going to breathe in and out through the nostrils, adding a little diaphragmatic movement. Now, if you are pregnant or on your menstrual cycle, please do not pump the diaphragm. You'll just do long, deep breath. Otherwise, we're just going to be here real little short work, focused on the breath. Inhale fully and begin your version of breath of fire. Find your rhythm, your pace, your breath, your practice. Body's very still. Awareness is on the breath in the nostrils. Focus is at the brow point if the eyes are closed, or at the tip of the nose, just beyond the tip of the nose if the eyes are narrow. And again, you're aware of the base of your spine, feeling the energetic engagement. Now, the base of your spine, this first chakra, is all about safety and security. And so for many of us who have had a lack of those things in our lives from our early childhood on, a lack of safety, a lack of security, we don't have the ability to find ourselves secure and safe in any present moment. These tools are designed to help us to be aware of where our anxieties lie and to be able to regulate ourselves a little bit. So just stay with this 10 more seconds. Take a full inhale. Gently retain this breath. And then exhale. And then gently, this will be the hardest thing you do all day. Gently find a way to bring your hands to support you as you somehow bring yourself down onto your mat, on your back. Releasing your crown long, your feet long. Bring the heels and toes together, and then let the toes fall open. Bring the palms down by the hips, palms up. Lengthen through the crown. Pull down at your lower spine, and then release into the mat for a moment. Take a moment here to just allow yourself to settle. into this new posture. Now we are supine. Feel the supports along the entire backside of your body. Allow yourself to be supported here. Notice your experience. Feel into any shifts that may have occurred for you. A little light stretching, little bioenergetic grounding, and a deep squat. Engaging. Now, as you are ready, take your arms out. Actually, let's do this. Let's bring the hands to the abdomen. Lightly rest the hands on the abdomen. Now, the reason you're doing that is you're going to feel that the abdomen is relaxed. If you start to feel your abdominal muscles clench up and get tight, then you've gone too far. You're supposed to be, this is relaxed here. Keeping the abdomen relaxed, go ahead and bring the soles of the feet together and the heels toward the hips. So your knees are flopping open, if you will. You're coming into this reclined bound angle posture. Now, experiment with your heels in relation to your hips to find that place where you feel most relaxed in the thighs and knees, and your knees can fall open. Again, remembering we want to feel, when you start to feel that tension in the core, in the abdomen, you've gone too far. You want to keep that abdomen relaxed here. And then you want to relax into this posture. Now, if you want to support your knees with your blocks, it's a wonderful thing to do here. You can put your block underneath the knee or underneath the thigh at whatever height is appropriate to allow your knees to be supported as they open gently. And again, we're letting the body open on its own pace, listening to the wisdom of our body, feeling into this posture. Now, as you're in this posture, breathing in and breathing out, bring your awareness to your sacral trine, that area, the center of the hip girdle, just behind the genitalia. And imagine in that space a swirling disc of energy that is bright orange in color. This is the second chakra. And the second chakra color is orange. And I meant to mention in the first chakra, the element of the first chakra is earth. Or the element of this second chakra is water. So imagine this feeling of sensation, water flowing. This is where the energy flow of our sensory organs that generates from, originates, nexus is into, that's not a, nexus is into. Well, I just made up a preposition there. Nexus is into. This is the nexus of where our sensory organs come to, our eyes, our ears, our fingers and touch, our taste, our smell. All of that is centered here in this second chakra. So imagine a bright orange ball there spinning in the opposite direction of your first chakra. And allow yourself to feel into this. And maybe you feel your body slowly accepting the opening that's available to it. Maybe you feel yourself coming into this a little bit. Breathe in here. And breathe out here. And take your hands to the outside of your thighs and gently bring your thighs together so that your knees come together and the soles of your feet come to the mat. And then maybe move your heels a little bit closer to your hips, maybe not. Bring your hands down alongside your hips, palms down. And all we're going to do here is some very gentle pelvic tilts. So lengthen through the crown and then imagine you're pressing down on your side ribs so that you feel your lower spine on the mat. And as you do that little pressing down of the lower spine, you might feel the you might feel the hip girdle, especially the base of the hips, the pelvic start to tilt up off the mat. So just that little pelvic bowl tilt is what we're doing here. So you may just feel it's a very subtle move. So take your time and just feel into this. The only thing you're doing is gently pressing down on the lower spine and feeling how the hip girdle tilts, the pelvic bowl tilts. Your buttocks might begin to feel as if they're rolling up off the mat. Or inhale, you feel that tilt, and then exhale, release, and you'll feel, a little bit of the tendency of the lower spine here to arch, right? So we're working with that little gentle arching and releasing at a very subtle level. Very relaxed again. No energetic tensing in the abdominal muscle, no effort here. Keep the thighs rotated toward each other so that the knees stay in parallel. And just feel that gentle subtle. All right. Release that movement. Extend the right leg long and let the right foot relax, the right leg relax. So you're totally relaxed there. Bring the left knee in toward the chest. Maybe reach up and grab just below the left knee, pull the left knee closer to the chest and maybe out toward the armpit a little bit. So you actually feel that if you notice, experiment with that. So pull your left knee in toward your chest and then pull your left knee in toward your left armpit and notice what happens in your hip girdle depending on where you put. So find the angle of your left knee that provides the most opening through your hip girdle. And again, the right leg is relaxed. So tendency here is to clench up the right foot and right leg. Let that relax. Consciously relax the right foot, right leg. And then bring that left knee in and feel that through the hip girdle, that extension. Breathing here, full inhale. Complete exhale. Again, keep your focus in the second chakra here. Feel the flow of energy through the hips as you move through these postures. Breathing here. Now, again, in our lives, for those of us that have a history of trauma, prolonged and or repeated exposure to trauma, trauma freezes our ability to flow. And as the artist Shakira once said, our hips don't lie. We get frozen into our stories. We get frozen into our hips, and we can't feel the energetic flow through our hip girdle. Keeps us from the full experience of our senses, the wonder of our sensory experience. We're blocked from that. So our work here is to open ourselves. Breathe into that. Breathing in. And then as you exhale, gently release the hands from the knee and bring both the right knee into the chest. Squeeze a little bit with both knees. Maybe lift your chin. Maybe bring your nose toward your knees. Kind of reset the alignment in your back. And then lay your shoulder girdle back down, the back of your head back down. And then bring the feet back to the mat. Do a couple of those pelvic bowl tilts to feel that connection to the mat with your lower spine. And then extend the left leg long on the mat. Relax the left foot, the left leg. And then bring the right knee in towards the chest. Again, reach up and grab just below the right knee. If you crossed your fingers, switch the cross to that other way, that more awkward way. And then experiment with bringing the right knee toward the chest and then toward the right armpit till you find that place where you feel you've got the most opening in your hip, and then that's your place, and then be there and breathe. Full inhale again, relaxing that left leg, left foot. Hips are relaxed. Work is primarily through the right hip girdle and the right thigh, right knee. And of course, your hands are helping here support you. Relax the shoulders in the back of the head and breathe here. Again, feeling into that energetic flow, noticing what's happening in your hip girdle. Being aware of the sensations of opening and stretching. movement and feeling here, breathing deep, long yogic breath, full inhale, complete exhales. Notice where your mind goes. These postures can be challenging for us, especially if we've had any type of trauma. It can be difficult to allow ourselves to feel. Remember, you are in the privacy of your own space by design. You are in your practice with your breath in your body. Breathing in and knowing that you're breathing in. Breathing out, knowing that you're breathing out. A full inhale here. And then exhale, release your hands from that knee. Release that knee a little bit and then bring the left knee in. Maybe reach up and squeeze a little bit again. Maybe bring your forehead and your nose toward your knees. Reset that lower back. Bring the heels down by the hips. Relax the head and shoulders back down. Do a couple of those pelvic tilts to feel yourself here. Then we got one more posture here for the second chakra, and that's our happy baby posture. And so bring the knees into the chest. And then if you like, you can sort of reach up in between your thighs and grab the inside of your instep. And then bring the knees toward the shoulders and the soles of the feet toward the ceiling. And then maybe you can work a little bit here with whatever movement you need, sort of bringing your knees toward maybe towards the floor a little bit, maybe a little rock side to side. I always like to tell people, feel free to gurgle if you like in this posture. And again, keep your focus on your second chakra and the sensation of this movement for you, feeling into yourself as you breathe here. Again, note where you're challenged, if you are challenged. Note where you are joyful. And perhaps you are joyful. This can be a very joyful posture, hence the name, happy baby. A little gurgling here, breathing here, full inhale. Complete exhale. If you like, you can experiment with bringing your feet over your head, coming into sort of a modified plow, but don't go too far. We don't want the lower back to roll up off the mat here. So our supports here are in the spine, and we want that lower back to stay supported. So the tendency is you bring your feet up, your hips and buttocks lift off the mat. We don't want that to happen. We want to stay supported here in the lower spine. A few more wiggles here. Take a full inhale. And a complete exhale. Release the legs long. Let the toes fall open. Bring the hands down by the sides. Lengthen the crown and take a full inhale. And a complete exhale. Inhale here. Exhale here. A full inhalation. A complete exhale. All right, bring the heels and toes together. Toes neutral toward the ceiling. Bring the hands down next to the hips, palms down. Press into the palm and the forearm. Lengthen through the crown and pull that lower spine down onto the mat. Feel that support. Then bring your awareness to your navel point. So that place maybe just above the belly button. And then imagine that space on your spine. So that point on your spine that's just above and behind the belly button. And that is the location of your third chakra. The third chakra. Now, the third chakra color is bright golden yellow. So imagine, if you will, a spinning disc of energy at that point on your spine, just behind you. Bright yellow. And it'd be spinning in the opposite direction of your second chakra or in the same direction as your first chakra. So you've got the ochre or deep red of the first chakra. You got the orange of the second chakra. Now you have the bright golden yellow of the third chakra. The third chakra is all about self-will, self-determination, self-respect. It's that place of self-discipline and self-regulation. It's that place where we work from, where we need to go for it or take the shot or be fully present. It's that place where we steady and still that churning that we often have in our guts from our anxieties and our insecurities, a place of courage and strength. You're going to need that here as we energize this third chakra. So let us bring the left knee in toward the chest and lift the right foot off the mat. Now, in this posture, remember it is your practice, so use your supports as you need to. Palms pressing down into the mat. If you like a little more support, you can bring your thumbs underneath the sits bones at the base of the hip girdle. If you'd like even more support than that, you can bring the back of your palms underneath the SI joint at the top of the buttocks. Now, your right leg extended, the lower it is and closer to the mat, the more effort that's engaged through the hip flexors and the core. The higher that foot is, the more support you get from your spine. So if you keep it just hovering above the mat, you're fully engaged. If you press your right heel toward the ceiling, you'll feel the full extent of your spine supporting you in this movement. And then somewhere in between, maybe you find that space where the ceiling and wall come together. Maybe you find that space halfway down your wall, maybe a third of the way down the wall, whatever. Find that spot for you. We're going to be pistoning the legs here. And so find your supported posture, engage here. And then as you exhale, switch the cross. So your left leg will extend and the right knee will come in toward the chest. Fully engaged here. Continue to move with your breath, your rhythm, your pace, your breath, your practice. Inhaling and exhaling as you piston the legs. Focused in that navel point, that place just behind the navel, just above and behind the navel, on the spine. So that center of your being, actually the core, right there. This is your core. We all have a core, that firm, steady core. Can you be steady and calm and focused on your breath while moving in your own body here? Now notice as you're challenged, what happens in your mind? Where does your mind tend to go? Do you lose your focus? Notice that your breath begins to tell. Maybe your breath gets a little shorter, a little more ragged. Remember that breath is strength. Breath is strength. Focus on your breath here. Full inhales. Complete exhales. And you'll feel that heat perhaps begin to develop in your core. As we're engaged now through the hip flexors and through the thighs and hamstrings and into the core, the abdominal muscles, the lower back muscles. Now we're in it. Now it's happening. Full inhale. Extend both legs. And exhale, let the heels come down, let the toes fall up and turn your palms up and let everything go. Just release. Now notice what shifted for you. Notice how energized you may be in your core. Feel into the energy that's available to you. This is your place of strength here. Find your strength here. And again, for those of us who have been traumatized, we're suffering from the inability to fully believe in ourselves, fully believe how strong we are, to fully access all of our strengths here. Take a full inhale. A complete exhale. Inhale here. Exhale here. A full inhalation. A complete exhale. Turn the palms down, bring the heels and toes together. And then inhale, lift the legs up. Press through the heels. Flex the toes, dorsiflex the toes back toward the face. So you feel that length in the back of the legs. And then keep that, notice the tendency here for your head to come up. Let that head relax, shoulders relax. Now again, hands can come underneath the SI joint or underneath the sits bones if you want additional support. We're going to do our scissor kicks here or leg lifts, your choice. So inhale here, get long. Exhale, let the left leg lower till it's just hovering over the mat. Inhale, bring the left leg back up. Exhale, let the right leg lower. Inhale, right leg back up. So that's a scissor kick, one leg at a time. Exhale down, inhale up. Now, if you like, you can use both legs at the same time. Exhaling down, inhaling up. Or you can do a variation thereof. Get into it. Find your own way. Maybe you have a little pattern you want to do. Maybe a scissor, and then fold. Maybe you want to quad that up, 4 times. Find your beat, find your rhythm. Rock your body, be calm and centered and focused on your breath while moving within your body. Maybe you feel that heat in the core. Fully engaged now. We're working it now, breathing in and breathing out. And again, notice what happens in your mind and in your breath when you have to engage, when you have to be fully present. Where does your strength come from? Can you be with yourself? Working here, full inhale. Complete exhale. Just a couple more here. And then inhale the legs up. Exhale, bring the knees into the chest. Reach up and squeeze a little bit. Take a moment just to rock gently side to side. And then release the legs long. Let the toes fall open. Turn the palms up. And release. Let go. Breathe. Oh, time flies when we're having fun. We're right on time. All is well. All is as it should be. Can you feel yourself now? Are you focused in your core? Do you know where you are? Can you be here and breathe? Full inhale. Cleansing breath. Complete exhale. Let everything go. Just let it go. Allow everything to integrate. Full inhale. Complete exhale. Inhale here. Exhale here. Gently roll to your belly, either direction. Oh yeah, we didn't do that. We're not going to do that today. Okay. Well, that's okay. We'll be all right. We're fine here. Now we're going to work. We work the front of the body. We're going to work the back of the body. We're still working in the core. So you're still focused at that place. So the toes have gone long, pressing into the mat. Tops of the feet. Bring your forehead, nose, or chin to the mat. Turn your palms down. Elbows tight against the side of the body. So you feel that support. Okay? Bringing the forehead toward the mat. Lengthen through the crown, and you'll feel that nose begin to lift. Maybe feel the chin begin to lift. Keep lengthening through the crown as you press through the toes. Press into the tops of the feet. Feel the knees engage. Lift the chest. Now, this is working the lower back, but the core of the body is what's working here. So your QLs and your obliques. And again, your core is engaged here. So this is focused at that core area. Find your strength. Now notice on your exhale, you tend to retreat a little bit. See if you can just avoid doing this. See if you just hold. Don't overdo. Just be here. This is our modified locus, supported locus. Press into the fingers and the hands to support yourself. Press into the toes. Breathe here, full inhale. And exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. We're going to do a couple of these pulses. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Now inhale and stay lifted. Go ahead and breathe though. Don't hold the breath, just hold the posture. And then if you like, you can add on. Maybe you lift one hand. Maybe you lift the other hand. Maybe you lift one foot. Maybe you lift the other foot. Breathing here. Full inhale. Complete exhale. Inhale here. Exhale here. Breathe in. As you breathe out, lower down. Let your palms turn up. Let your heels turn wide. Turn your left cheek and ear to the mat. And just breathe. Release. Feel everything settle. Again, notice how the energy might have shifted to the back side of the body here. Notice how you might feel a little bit of energy from the top of the buttocks to just below the rib cage. That core fully engaged, fully supported here. We got two more here. All right, inhale here. Bring your heels together. Again, toes press into the mat. Bring your nose, chin, or forehead to the mat. And then bring your hands underneath your shoulders. So the thumb is right about the breast line, depending on your body. Maybe the inside of your wrists lightly touch the outside of your ribs. Maybe not. Bring your elbows as if you could bring them toward each other behind your back, as if you could touch your elbows behind your back. So you feel your shoulder blades moving down and toward each other. And then that might lift the crown a little bit, press into the tops of the feet, lengthen and lift through the chest. This is your cobra posture. Supported cobra. Press into the fingertips to support yourself. Find your length here. Knees are engaged, legs are engaged, lower back's engaged, supported. And then maybe experiment with pressing into the fingertips and the heel of the palm to see where your lift is. But we really ultimately want to minimize the amount of work in our hands. Maybe pick up your hands and feel that. And then just lightly put the fingertips down to just to support you. Find your support here in your cobra. Breathe in. Breathe out. A full inhale. A complete exhale. Inhale here. Exhale here. Now, I want you to experiment for yourself, pressing into your hands. See what extension you can get. Maybe you can come into a modified up dog. Maybe not. Maybe just find your place. Maybe for today, let's just not lift the hips. So again, just like in the back when we were doing Happy Baby, we didn't want the buttocks to roll up. In this upward dog modification, we don't want the pubic bone, or the hips to lift off the mat. So just find that place. Breathe in. Breathe out. And then lower yourself back down. And then inhale into a supported low cobra. And we're just going to do our breath of fire here, just for 1 minute. So inhale here to prepare. And then begin. Now notice you're on your belly, so your diaphragm is being impacted because it's pressing up against the mat. And so it may be a little more challenging to find your breath of fire. Work with your challenge. Work with your breath. Be present. Your rhythm. Your pace. Your breath. Your practice. Holding the posture, being focused on the breath. Calm. Steady. Moving within your own body. 20 more seconds here. Inhale, gently retain this breath. Be very still. Let everything settle. And exhale, release the right cheek, the right ear, the right temple to the mat. Let your hands come down by your side, palms up, let your heels fall open, just release. Sigh that out as you need to. Ooh. Take a full inhale. A complete exhale. Inhale here. Exhale here. A full inhalation. A complete exhale. As you finish your exhale, gently roll to your back. I'm going to do a gentle twist, and then we'll move into our guided rest. So just bring your heels toward your hips, and then take your palms out away from the body, so 60 to 90 degrees, creating some space. Lengthen through the crown, pull down on the lower spine. Inhale here. Exhale. Let both knees fall to the left as you look over your right shoulder. Now, if you like, you can take your left hand and gently guide that right thigh away from the face. So thinking about moving away from the face more than toward the ground. If you need just blocks underneath your thighs or knees to support, that's fine. Do that. Find the support you need. Let gravity do the work here. No need to go anywhere. We're not going anywhere. The knees don't need to be in any particular position. But you want that right shoulder to be relaxed. You want the crown and back of the head to be relaxed. You want your legs to be relaxed. Your work is in the right hip, in the back of the right hip. You're breathing behind the right hip. Breathe in. And breathe out. A full inhalation. A complete exhale. Inhale here. Exhale here. On your next inhale, bring your knees back to center, your head back to center. And then as you exhale, let both knees fall over to the right gently. Maybe taking that right hand to the left thigh, maybe looking over your left shoulder, relaxing the left shoulder down, letting your knees fall where they may, and just releasing into that twist. So all that energy we raised in the core, in the sacral trine, and in the base of the spine, all that is now able to release and flow. Breathing into that left hip, back of the left lower hip, breathing in, breathing out. Inhaling here, exhaling here. A full inhale. A complete exhale. On your inhale, bring your knees back to center, your head back to center. And then bring the knees in toward the chest. Squeeze if you like. Maybe lift your forehead and your nose toward your knees. Make a nice tight little ball. Maybe a little rock side to side to release any last tension here as we move into our guided rest. Bring yourself where your knees come toward your nose. Make a nice tight little ball. Squeeze. 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 And then exhale, release the feet long and legs long, let the toes fall open. Move the heels as wide as is comfortable for you on your mat. Let the palms fall up by the hips. Palms up, lengthen through your crown, pull down your spine, and then let go completely. You're done, be done. Allow yourself to be done. As you're moving here into your guided rest, take this opportunity to provide yourself with any additional support that you may want in this posture. Maybe you have an eye cloth. Maybe you have a blanket or a shawl. Maybe you have a bolster for your knees. Anything that will provide you perhaps 1% more support. Avail yourself of that. And then simply let go. Rest. Your task here is to rest, to allow the work to integrate into your body. As we said, our work here is to balance those three chakras, and now maybe you feel a little energetic flow, maybe not. Just allow everything to settle, allow everything to be. Release any analysis. Release any. Just allow yourself to rest. Can you be still and trust in the process? How many of us who've been exposed to repeated or prolonged exposure to trauma, one of the ways that it affects us is that we can't ever let go. We're always on guard, hyper-vigilant, hyper-aware, always feeling the need to control. These practices in this moment, particularly in our practice, allows us an opportunity in the safety of our own space to experiment with letting go. Can we release the need to control for a moment and just be? Can we feel into the support that's available in this moment and just trust? Can we relax into our body just as it is on our mat right here, right now, and allow ourselves to just be in silence for the next minute? And if perchance you notice that your attention has wandered away, I invite you to gratefully acknowledge that wandering and gently and compassionately bring your attention back to your body. Take a moment to provide yourself with the reawakening, wiggling your fingers and your toes, rotating your ankles and your wrists. And then maybe you want to take a long, good morning stretch or any movement you want to do to fully reacclimate yourself with your body as you prepare yourself to sit up again. And when you're ready, and only when you're ready, find your way back to a seated posture. And as you reacclimate to your seat, taking a moment to reconnect with your seat and the supports in your seat, extending and lengthening, elongating the spine, floating your hands once again to your heart. Allow, if you will, in your heart to arise one more thing for which you are grateful. And as you sit here and witness yourself in gratitude in your space, I'll take this opportunity to extend my sense of gratitude to you from this space. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your practice. I'm honored to be here, truly. And as always, in closing, I invite you to stay here in grateful witness for as long as you like. And more importantly, when you do rise, please take the echoes of your practice and your gratitude with you as you go through the remainder of your day, lifting yourself and all that you come into contact with. Have an amazing day.